Hello there! It's Thursday at 12:30, so here we are. I am Dr. Stephanie Fine, and I'm here to chat with you. A little ounce of prevention. You can get that in your inbox. And all you have to do is go to stephaniefinemd.com. You just sign right up, and every Thursday morning you'll get one, and then it'll remind you to come right here, because this is where we dive in a little deeper, get to chat about it. I hope you had a good week. So this week, we are talking about accomplishing your goals. Now, that can feel a bit, usually that's a January 1st thing, right? But I gotta tell you, for me, it's happening sort of all the time. And what spurred this on was this idea that I was spinning my wheels. I was not accomplishing what I wanted to. And I'll tell you that I am a very organized person. So this was sort of interesting to me. And what I found, I wrote. And so the main point about this ounce of prevention is this idea that there are 4 steps to reaching a goal. And certainly one of your goals can be losing weight, maintaining weight. It can be anything else too. Cleaning out the garage, saving for the kids' college fund, I mean, literally anything, getting married, any goal that you have. So here are the 4. Decide what you want. Prioritize the behavior that you need to do. So not only decide what you want, but then how are you what's the first step to get there? Schedule the time to do that thing and then actually do it. So I wanted to talk about the challenging bits of all that. So the first one actually is deciding. To me, that one is almost the most difficult, because once you make that decision, it's out there. And once it's out there, you really get to say whether you're going to do it or not. And it's one thing like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Italy and in the fall. But if you don't actually decide, say, I'm going to Italy in 2020. That's a whole different ballgame. Once you actually decide to do it, then you're on your way. So let's say you're going to Italy in fall, and you decide it's 2020. Then what's the first thing? It might be save up some money. Well, if you're going to do that, how are you going to do that? So now when you've actually made the decision to do it, you have now set in motion a whole bunch of things. And if those things don't happen, then you're not going to Italy in 2020. See, and that piece can be the hard piece. Of course, when we're talking about weight loss, there's a lot of, if you say to yourself, you don't have to say to other people at this point, you say, I am going to lose 20 pounds. We say that a lot, but then actually deciding that you're going to do it or not, right? I mean, maybe you're not going to do it. And that's actually another point I want to bring up, but we'll talk to that in a minute. So deciding that you're going to lose 20 pounds. And then, so the next one is prioritize. There are lots of things you can do to lose 20 pounds. Some are healthy, some are unhealthy. But you know for yourself what's the first thing you need to do. And it might be give up alcohol. It might be eat breakfast. It might be bring your lunch. Any one of those can be for you. You decide. You could even write a little list. Like, what are the things that would be healthy? And then you pick one of them. How many? Just one. Not 12 all at the same time. Not I'm going to run every day and I'm going to make all my dinners and I'm going to shop at the farmer's market and no. One of those. And when you do one of them, then you schedule it in. So if you decide I'm going to shop at the farmer's market for all my vegetables, great. That's the first thing. That's all you're doing in the beginning. Well, then when is the farmer's market open? Got to find that out. And then you put it in your schedule. You stick it in there. So the scheduling it is another big step, right? Because again, you're getting closer. You're actually doing it. So you schedule it in there, and basically you're visualizing. By scheduling it into the future, you are visualizing yourself going to the farmer's market. When you do that, you have a higher chance of actually doing it. Now, the other tricky thing about scheduling is being realistic about if you really can fit it in there. Now, you may have to move things, but you've decided on this goal. So this is happening. So however you're going to make it happen, you got to make it happen, and it has to be in your schedule. And then you have to do it. So that's the other, there's so much world around each of these things. But keeping your word to yourself is one of the most important skills that you can develop to get any goal done. If you start keeping your word to yourself and you make realistic requests of yourself, then you can trust that you're going to do them. And when you can trust that you're going to do them, then you can start actually doing stuff. Now remember, don't do it all at once. Just because you can trust yourself doesn't mean you're going to, like run 12 miles and, all the crazy things all day long. You're still doing one thing at a time. But when you can strengthen that muscle of keeping your own word, it will change your life. So, back to the one thing. It's actually go back to the decision making. So there's a piece I didn't put in the blog that is really actually an important piece, which is this idea of it may not be the season, right? You may want to go to Italy in 2020, but your family reunion is the month before, and your kids starting to go off to college. Like it just may not be the right time, and that is totally fine. You can pick a different goal. You can put it further out. There's many things that you can do. But what I actually think of often is when people are trying to lose weight and they have a 4 and a 6-year-old and their mother is dying and their in-laws are moving and, and their full-time job is overwhelming. That is not the time to stick something else like that on your plate. It's not. It feels like it is because we're desperately trying to feel better when we're in a position like that where everything feels overwhelming. But it's more likely that taking something off your plate rather than putting something on your plate is the right thing to do. So there are seasons. The kids will grow up. The parents will get better from the surgery. The kids will graduate college. There are seasons, there are times when it makes more sense. And I would love it if you'd have grace for yourself about that. And when it comes up with weight loss, it's usually around some big emotional issue that is going on right now. So a major change, like someone's retiring, or they're very, very ill and you need to care for them, or you just had a baby, like these sorts of things. They are really big, and we often don't have grace for ourselves. It's not like you should do no act towards losing weight, but you have to have a lot of grace. A lot of grace. It might be a great time to maintain your weight. And then here's the thing. When we're kind to ourselves, the minute we can do something, we will. I have been surprised by this all the time. Like, when you're done grieving, your body knows it, and you start to have a little more energy, and then you get a little more done, and you start to feel freer. It really is incredible. The body knows. So do listen to that before you're beating yourself up about not meeting goals. Evaluate your landscape and then decide if it makes sense to go for a goal right now. And then you'll decide on it. And again, that could be scary because you may decide, actually, I don't want that. And then your identity can be changed from that. Or I do want it, and I'm very afraid of all the things that are going on. So then the next thing is to do one thing towards it. That one thing needs to become a habit. So if it's back to the farmer's market, if you start going on Saturdays and you're like, this is fantastic, I love this, great. So now it's a habit. You got it in, you go with a friend, it's easy. Great, go on to the next thing. Was it going to be movement? Was it going to be bring your bag lunch? Whatever it is. Some things will take longer to establish, and some things will establish pretty quickly. One thing at a time. That takes down the overwhelm. You have time. You have time. And then schedule it in. schedule it, makes it real, and then keeping your word. Those are the steps, my friend. I know you can do this. I adore you, and I'm so happy that you tune in here and we spend some time together. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.